Hello everybody, this is the 808 Steve from the Big Island of Hawaii, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about the menu options of the new Autel Evo 2 Pro. Stay tuned. What's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I really appreciate it that you guys swinging in. Before I start, I wanted to tell all of you guys, thank you so much. I'm really grateful for all the correspondence that I received from you guys, all the comments, and pretty much all the questions that were sent to me. I'm trying to answer pretty much all the comments in the comment section, and I'm really excited to talk to all of you guys. And yeah, thank you very much. Now to get back to this stuff, Autel Evo 2 Pro just released a brand spanking new firmware update 2.3.0, and let me tell you, it's actually very good. It's really cool. I wanted to go through the menu options because I received multiple emails from you guys asking for go through the menus. I believe you guys thinking about buying this bad boy. Why not? Let's get to it, right? Once you open up the menu, you will be ending up right over here in this menu, which starts with the first menu options over here in flight control. You're going to have the novice mode, which will pretty much give you all the settings that you need, such as go home altitude, speed limit, altitude limit, distance limit, compass calibration. And advanced setting pretty much has the front LED indicators. You can turn them on. Come on, no, on. Okay, I guess in novice mode you can turn them on or off. You also have the X-axis represents the physical output of the command sticks, and the Y-axis is the logical output of the command sticks. You can change the sensitivity in this stuff from 0.2 all the way up to 0.7, while 0.7 would create a curve that is pretty rugged. If you put it onto 0.7, it's very sensitive. I actually flying it at this time at 0.2. The drone is way more responsive to it. Like, you get way better shots. It's more smooth, more cinematic, and yeah, it's way better. If you do not use the novice mode, you have the go home altitude, which you can set in your stuff, and you can pretty much tell them, oh, I want the drone to return 150 feet from now. Below that, you have the speed modes. The standard speed mode starts at 11 miles per hour and moves over to 22 miles per hour, while the ludicrous mode, on the other hand, starts at 34 miles per hour and goes to 45 miles per hour. Ludicrous mode, be aware, obstacle avoidance will be off, as it is indicated over here. In the standard version over here, obstacle avoidance will be on usually automatically. For some reason it's not. Oh, it's because my drone is off. Usually when the drone is on, it shows you right here, obstacle avoidance is on. You can change your altitude limit, which in the United States at this point, at least here in Hawaii, would be 399 feet. You would be flying at 400 feet. The drone would not go above that. You could also set up your distance limit, which ranges from 98 feet to 1,640 feet. And you also have a compass calibration, and you have boat mode. Boat mode is actually a pretty cool thing to do, because if you are somewhere where you cannot put the drone onto a solid ground to start from there, you put her into boat mode and you will be able to start her from hand. I watched Dad Random having an issue with his 8K drone, and he tried to take it off and it made a weird spiral. I believe the video for that is up here. Up there? Is it up here? I hope it's up here. You can check it out over there, but he saved it. He was good, and I believe he did a really good flight with it afterwards either. Check out his channel, he's really cool. Afterwards, you have the advanced settings, which shows the front LED indicators, which are the red indicators. You can turn them on and off. The green blinking lights on the other hand in the back are not turned off. You can't turn those things off. Afterwards, you have visual navigation right here, where it tells you visual obstacle avoidance on or off. Pretty self-explanatory. You also have a small radar on your map if you want it. I can't turn it on right now because the drone is off, but it usually shows up on the top left corner, such as on the top left, there's like a white bar that you can see above where it says remote control and the aircraft disconnected. And there's usually the Google Maps that shows up, at least on my Android over here. Auxiliary bottom light. That one is interesting because on the drone itself, you can turn it on, you can put it on auto. Auto, if it's really dark, the light will stay on. Or you can set it to flash 1 second, 2 seconds. Let me tell you, that light is freaking bright, man. I mean, I was standing underneath it just for try it out, and I looked into it. I couldn't see nothing afterwards for a couple minutes because I saw those white dots. Crazy. In the advanced settings, you're going to see the downward vision positioning. The downward vision system helps the aircraft hover when the GPS signal is weak, provides support for accurate landing, landing protection, and other functions. Yeah, it's pretty much like those sensors that are sitting underneath this bad boy right here, and they kind of like are always on, even though if you turn them off during obstacle avoidance, but these sensors are always sort of on. They never really turn off, but you can still crash into a wall. I mean, I came so close the other day at my house, and yeah, it still does it. It's pretty much like just for landing, just to make sure. It has an issue though with water. If you have a puddle or a water or a river and you're going lower, she reads the altitude wrong. While I was above the ocean the other day and I was flying probably approximately 15 feet above the water, it was measuring like 20 and then sometimes 8 and 3.5. So it has an issue with water, and I believe it's because the waves, and if it's a river, the flowing element inside there. Next in the menu options, we have the remote control calibration. That is a good point. I did not think of it at first, so I started doing my calibration. While you do your calibration, the reason why you should do your calibration right off the bat is everybody handles a controller in a different way using the sticks. Your thumb functions for every person individually are always different. So it's pretty much like playing with a PS4. Everybody does the thumb actions a little bit different. If you calibrate it based on your hand movements, this controller will be pretty much dialed into your hands, your thumbs, your muscle memory, whatever it is. So it helps out really good. I'd recommend definitely to put it in, but that's up to you. You have the command stick mode, which in here shows on the menu. Pretty much in mode 1, you will be able to fly forward, fly backwards with the left stick, also turn left and right. Then you have the up and down with the right stick and the left and right strafe with the right stick. Mode 2 is what I usually use, and that's what usually is the standard mode for most of the drones, is on the left hand control stick. You go ascend, descend, and rotate left and right. And with the right stick, you go forward, backwards, strafe, left, and right. Mode 3 is the reverse mode of mode 2, where everything is pretty much reversed. Left side does all the steering left and right, strafing, forward, backwards, and right stick does ascend, descend, and rotate. Image transmission. So if my drone would be on at this point, let's just turn them on real quick. So now under image transmission, you have the chance to see your green line is pretty much like what your frequency goes through. If it spikes, it's bad. If it stays level like this was a spike, it's pretty bad. And that's how you have these jitters. So I'm not quite sure what these jitters are for, but if I set it for an example to 5 megahertz, you're gonna see that it's gonna move over into a different section. Sometimes it's really bad if I turn to a certain direction. Right now 5 megahertz looks pretty decent, 10 megahertz looks pretty decent. And if I go to 20 megahertz, then now you see the spikes. So that's when usually the video transmission gets interrupted. Something goes wrong with it. The broadband settings are totally off. So I switch it back to 10 megahertz. That is usually what I fly by. And so far it has been serving me pretty well. I had to only switch it once to 5 megahertz while I was at one park. And that didn't last pretty long because for some reason the 5 megahertz does not reach that much. You can change in the image transmission mode to high definition or smooth. Smooth is pretty much that it tries to just, it looks like sometimes pixelated 480, but at least you still have a steady shot. It still moves. While with high definition, you go inside there, you have it really choppy, so it's not really recommended. Next menu option, we have aircraft battery. Aircraft battery pretty much tells you everything, how your battery is doing, remaining capacity, the discharge times, how many times was it discharged, what is the current temperature, and it's really good. I mean, it's pretty cool. And you can actually go on to battery details, and every battery has a serial number, which is pretty impressive. Time to discharge, you can pretty much like give this battery how long do you want it to hold the charge before it, I guess, discharges itself. I have no idea how it does that, but you also have critically low battery warnings, which you can set. Mine's going to set to 15%. I believe this is default settings, 25% low battery warning, 15% is critical. When I first flew it on my flight to show the resolution comparison, I actually changed it over to low battery warning to 40% and critical to 25 because I just didn't want it to die out above the ocean. Next menu option that you have available is the gimbal. Gimbal, you have two options in the gimbal mode, which is stabilized and FPV. What it does, it locks up in FPV, it locks up the camera while you turn left and right. It pretty much like leans over left and right like this. Like it pretty much like does that. And when you go up and down, it does, or when you go forward, backwards, it does that dipping stuff and raising. Makes me all sick when I do it. Adjust the gimbal is when you go for start, you can actually pretty much like adjust the pitch and all that stuff. So now we're looking at the camera, so you can adjust the pitch, the yaw, the roll. Usually it's pretty good already, like with whatever you do. So you have an automatic gimbal calibration where you can do the starting calibration. So you do calibration, that's in case the gimbal is off. If you press this, the calibration is going to run through, place the aircraft horizontally and keep it still. So it does that whole jittery thing and turn, twist and whatnot as it does right there right now, and it will automatically adjust itself to be always like straight with the horizon. Apparently sometimes it turns off or it comes off or it's uneven, whatever it is. Then you have the gimbal pitch limit. So there is an option 30% extended upwards. Guys, don't go extended upwards for 30%. Why? You're gonna see these rotors inside there. You're gonna see the top part of your drone. As soon as she leans forward, you fly forward, this drone will not be able to really show you a really smooth image, whatever, because she sometimes starts to jitter, and you're gonna be able to see your rotors or your propellers, which you don't want, and they look like really like it's like 4 small lines on the top right corner of your image. You don't want that. So just leave it as it is. It is really good because most of the shots are straight downwards anyways, or reveal shots. You don't really need to go up. This is not a Paradigm where you can go 90 degrees up, 90 degrees down. So this is a Autel Evo 2. So look straight, look down, wherever you want to look. Just don't go to 30% above. I don't recommend it. Then there's the next option, which is gimbal pitch EXP sensitivity. That one, I set it to 22. I had it at 100 and it's really fast. Whoop, whoop, down, up, and it's not. If you want to do those reveal shots and come around something or go over something, 22 is pretty good. You can play around with it. It's sensitivity, come on, man. It's self-explanatory. General in home point. So now this is an interesting one. You cannot set the home point when this drone is sitting just like this. You have to push these 2 buttons. That she does this, and then you can set it either to aircraft or you can set it to me. So if you set it to me, it's pretty much where you're standing at. Sometimes you're standing 20 feet away from it. If you have a roof above your head, that's pretty bad. Don't do it. I usually set it to aircraft because that's where I want that sucker to land anyway. So that's the pretty good part about it. Oh, there it is again. I pressed the button again. Units you can change in between imperial and metric, which is self-explanatory too. It's like miles per hour or kilometers per hour. It's meters or feet. Show aircraft coordinates, that's via GPS, or you have UTM or DMS. I leave it on GPS because it's a GPS quadcopter, so it pretty much follows the GPS if you can trust the GPS. Next one would be the firm version, and the firm version pretty much tells you what everything is right here. Flight control, camera, remote control, everything is in here, what version you're running on it. I don't know why it does that, because you do firmware updates and it does all these. So I don't know, I guess it's for record keeping for them. Switch to a map. I don't know what that is. I do not know what it is. I'm sorry. I'm bad at that. I don't know. I'm sorry. You have live mode. I haven't tried out live mode, but I'm assuming that it makes a transmission, which is kind of weird because if you want to transmit at the same time you want to have connection with your drone, I'm not quite sure if that works. Voiceovers is, I believe, if I turn this off, and these 2 buttons in the bottom, I don't know. Seems to be, these buttons in the bottom seem to be like the buttons of hell. I press them and then I don't want to say nothing because it keeps telling me give a voice command. So I believe the voiceovers have something to do with that, like start, land. Don't you start right now. Don't you turn on your rotors. Anyways, so then you have the restore, do not show again. So you can reset that because sometimes they have prompts that pop up in your menu and there are like the check marks that you put in there, or do not show again. And then like a week later, you're like, wait, there was a pop-up at some point. What did it say? You can restore that. When you reset it, those pop-ups will come up again and you will have the option to turn them off again. In the About section, you just pretty much like it shows you what Autel Explorer is all about. Last but not least on the menu over here that we have that is not really in the menu options is our menu in the bottom, which also shows us resolution 6K, 4K, 2.7K, 1080p. Next to that, you will have your FPS with the 1080p going all the way up to 120. Also with the 2.7K would be going all the way up to 120. I would have preferred if the 1080p would have actually been capable of 240. But yeah, well, you can't ask for everything, right? 4K on the other hand will go maximum to 60 FPS right over here. While 6K on the other hand will be going maximum to 30 FPS. Now, you will have the chance to either save it as an MP4, which is my preference, or to the MOV. And then you will have manual. Manual is for exposure mode. In exposure mode, you have the choice to either go for shutter priority, aperture priority, or manual. I prefer manual. Shutter priority, on the other hand, does everything pretty much automatically, and it does adjust shutter and ISO for you. It's an automatic stuff with the priority for the shutter. Aperture, on the other hand, will adjust everything based on the aperture itself, so it will play around with its own ISO, and the shutter will always be set to 30, or it will be automatic everything. Because even if you play around with these right now in the ISO mode over here, it doesn't do anything to it, so because it's aperture priority. If I go into manual, I will be able to change all these things. I have my f2.8 that goes all the way in the f-stops up to f11, which makes it really dark, which is pretty good, but it's really a hassle if you're trying to get the perfect shot and you looking into the sun, whatever it is. You have the shutter speed, which is usually set if you're recording right now under, what are we on right now? 30. So that means we're gonna end up with 60. 6K 30 FPS would end up with a 1/60. So you always try to have double the amount of your FPS in the shutter. Your ISO is pretty much self-explanatory as well. You can change the ISO from 100 being the lowest, and it goes all the way up to 6,400. That is super bright, but it's super good for low light capabilities. I just flew the drone tonight before I came here, and let me tell you, this low light capability of this camera is insane. Like, it's really good. White balance, I usually set it automatically always to 5600. I do not like the other options because neon is all right. It's pretty much like for artificial light. This InCan makes it everything look kind of bluish. Then you have the cloudy part, you have the sunny part, and you have the auto part. The auto part I'm not a big fan of, so I leave usually all my videos are filmed in 5600. You have digital zoom, which is pretty interesting. It's pretty cool. Let me see if I can zoom in on something over here. ×2, ×3, 4 times, 5 times, and 6 times. You actually can go all the way up to 8 times, which is pretty amazing, but it makes everything pretty blurry. So up to like 4 times is not too bad. Focus mode, you have autofocus or manual focus. Manual focus, you can just slide it and set it, or you just leave it in autofocus where it automatically focuses into whatever is the closest to it. In the colors, you get your log, which, hey, you guys gotta check this guy out. That is original Dobo. He made a lot for it, which is, in my eyes, way better than the lot that was provided by Autel. So please, Autel, you guys gotta give Dobo something for that because he's really good. You have black and white, which everything will be in black and white. Nostalgic, which is like everything looks kind of warmish and oldish. I usually leave it off. I like the natural colors. Most of my footage that you see in my channel is usually not color graded at all. You have style, which makes it kind of neutralish. Land is usually very powerful. That's what I usually film on. And then you have the neutral part, which is this one, where you can set your sharpness and your other options in there where you can play around with. That is pretty much like for advanced users if you really want to play around with it, like contrast and all that stuff. It makes things look super bright or super, like, you know, you pretty much get the drift, right? And then you have, what is this? Oh, the PIV interval. So anytime you don't know what it is, you can always click on that question mark right there. Picture in video allows you to take still images while recording video at the same time. Aircraft will take screenshots from a video and save it as a JPEG. Raw images are unavailable in PIV. PIV images will be saved at the resolution of the video being recorded. So if you're recording in 6K, it pretty much does this. So it's like 10 seconds. I don't even know what this does, but I believe it either sets it off in 5 seconds or it will take pictures for 5 seconds. Well, if it will take pictures for 60 seconds, that's a lot. And that's pretty much it. Like, it's really cool because on the left side, when you look next to my 6K indicator, you have that little degree. It shows you the degrees that this camera is moving. So yeah, guys, man, I tell you, this menu is pretty impressive. The button of hell, I pressed it again. I'm listening, you can do whatever. I don't want to do anything. Can you just turn off? The menu settings itself are really good. It's all right. There are a few things that I'm missing that I would like to see that might come with another update. Where am I looking at? The camera's down there, not the screen up there. I don't know. There's a small external monitor above my camera. I keep looking at myself. So in the menus itself, I would like to see from Autel that they implement a better calibration for the joysticks where you can check the sensitivity. Paradanofi had a very good one. We could create presets. These buttons of hell, if you really want to have a good function on it, put some presets on it, guys, that I'm going to be able to choose the presets, pressing this button and then maybe select it with the joystick or whatever. Presets are great. It also would eliminate most of the time that you have to go back into the menu itself to select ludicrous mode or obstacle avoidance mode or whatever. If you create a menu up here for your phone or a tablet, whatever you use, and you put it on the top part of the bar where you show the altitude, and we could place some presets in there, Autel, you would be the bomb. Like, it would be super good. Because you could set the first preset, let's say for cinematic shots. Drone goes maximum 10 miles per hour, 5 miles per hour, whatever. And your joystick control part, if it goes slower and stuff. I understand it's a lot of programming and stuff, but hey, for $2,000, I want to be able to have those options, okay? Because I want to be able to control this bad boy. I don't want to be forced to use a preset that is given by a factory, because it's just like having a car and not being able to tune it, right? So please, Autel, come up with some presets, options, and better joystick control. Another part would be great if I had the option to change my buttons. I would like to change my buttons, please. And I also would like to have the function to turn these buttons off. Please, because I keep pressing them. Pretty please. And that is it for the menu, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I could help you guys make a decision on this bad boy. I'm telling you right now, you will not regret this purchase. I know $2,000 is a lot of money, and I know that a lot of people are hesitant about it, but you will not regret that purchase. And while you're at it, pick up these batteries. I picked up 4. I can pretty much fly all freaking day, because with this smart hub that comes with this charging part, you have 4 batteries, and if you press the blue button, it will give you, that's a different video. We're swerving off the subject. So I really appreciate you guys coming by. Please, all the equipment used in here for this video, box light, soft light, lights in the background, whatever. I even can throw a link in for that damn laptop over here. That laptop is an HP laptop. It's really good. It actually is one of the best purchases too that I did. in order for edit my videos. All those links will be in the description below. And please do me a favor, if you really liked it, if you enjoyed, if it was informative, if it brought value to you, please do me a favor, subscribe, hit the bell, and hey, I always come up with new ideas to entertain you guys, and I always try to help you guys out. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. If you have anything you would like to say to me, if you have anything that, yeah, I just said that, never mind. Anyways, don't forget, COVID-19 is still out there to get you. Please, wear a mask, be respectful, be polite, be a nice human, and wash your hands. Be safe out there, everybody. Aloha.